Hello, everybody. I'm streaming again. It's Mike Levin on Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. Pardon me. I'm doing my lunch break streaming. It's already 12:30. Ugh, I started this at 12:10 and I had to stop because of information leak on my streaming. I use my main machine that I use for everything for my live streaming. So, integrated life. We are here in my personal but public journal. And I've already started it by doing a shout out to Bobo, Computer Chronicles, and Celtic Orthodox Prayer, who I had a great chat with last night at like 2 a.m. while I was streaming regarding Windows 11 stuff. And so thank you, folks, for making streaming fun. And you give me hope to blow up and maybe redeem myself from my shut-in agrophoric antisocials doing this just for myself ways. I guess I do want to blow up. And so I'll go through my daily metaphors. What's most broken? What's most broken is a weakest link in the chain evaluation. A chain is no stronger than its weakest link, so you got to fix the weakest link. Where do you get the biggest bang for the buck? That's an 80-20 rule evaluation. You really only want to put about 1/5 the overall effort that you are planning to, that you have the time for, you have the energy for, because the best laid plans of mice and men, you're going to stop. And when you're only 1/5 in, you should be able to stop and still get the benefit. So in the next session, you rinse and repeat and you inch your way towards perfection or whatever. And then what plates need spinning? This is a rabbit hole evaluation. How deep does the rabbit hole go? Have caution, because what's most broken could send you into the abyss. Trying to just do something that has the 80-20 rule but is really a deep rabbit hole, could send you into the abyss. And so this last one sort of moderates, mitigates, is the ringleader of the other two in the virtual machine terms of stuff I've been thinking about recently. This is the hypervisor level, or the DOM, the dominant operating system. So what's most broken? Money, money, money. I'll be out of it real soon because I have to move back to New York City where expenses are double and I'm stretched thin already. So blowing up on YouTube would be nice, but I'm different from other YouTubers. They're all slick and polished and I'm just me, right? So I don't think genuine people really stand a chance on YouTube. But to get my expenses under control, I'll do V instead of Shift V, and so I can do Shift W. Buy stuff I buy, like Netflix. Price raised? Not this guy. I love Umbrella Academy. And look forward to season 3, but not that much. So, one screen to the right. The screen transitions I can't live without. Apparently, someone just told me in the comments of my videos that Windows 11 does have this if you do the 4-finger swoosh on the trackpad, but it hasn't made it to control Windows left-right arrow key. Oh, so you see my T-Mobile plan, right? Okay, so there's a little bit of information leak here. What the heck? Manage add-ons. So you can see now to cancel Netflix, I actually went through the process of going to the Netflix there. Oh, more information leak. Whoa, boy. Okay, I'm going to go with it. If you really want to call me on my mobile phone, fine. Yeah. But how to cancel Netflix. If you don't see an option to cancel in your account, you'll need to cancel the account with your billing company on your account page. You'll see either a link to a guide to guide you through the cancellation process with your billing company, or instructions to contact your billing company to cancel. Hence, my searching on T-Mobile cancel Netflix. Log into T-Mobile.com, select manage add-ons. The Netflix on us feature selected is your current subscription plan. Select the toggle arrow to review plan details, right? So There's no way to not have some information leak. And what the heck, you know? My plan is fine. Yeah, Netflix. $15.49 with family allowances. No, I don't want that. By removing Netflix standard $15.49 with family allowances, a $5 off value, $5.01. Thank you so much. I mean, you know, from this line, you are also removing it from other lines on your account. Agree. Did I do a t-shirt reveal? I'm not sure. Once I started streaming, right? So I use my t-shirts to channel the vibe I'm feeling. So Netflix, chill. Continue. Your monthly cost will decrease by $4.50. Netflix standard $15. So do you even understand that? How does my monthly cost decrease by $4.50 if Netflix standard is $15.49? Does that mean I'm getting something that costs $15.49, which is a $20 value for $4.50 per month plus tax? Do you even understand that? Or is there $15.49 somehow being tacked on through even other channels that I'm getting some sort of discount here? I should know this. But anyway, you slice it. I haven't heard a single thing about anyone watching Netflix in my family. So even if I'm decreasing the cost by $4.50, so be it. It's worth it even just for teaching you how to unsubscribe. I'll optimize this on Netflix and or on YouTube. Maybe I can go in and edit and take out some of the information slippage that I was doing, or maybe I'll do it again a different way with screen editing. It's probably foolish to live stream this, but this is the kind of thing you get from me. This is why I'm different from other people on YouTube who just spend so much time on the polish and the panache and make you think everything is so easy. Very few things are really easy like that. Life is full of, I use these metaphors. Life is full of Charlie Brown landing on his back moments. I'm into the concept of anti-fragile now. You're not trying to, to go from fragile to durable. Durable implies static. You want to remain a dynamic personality. Don't get set in your ways, except for the muscle memory of timeless tools. Those should be static. But your worldview, belief in things, etc. I don't want it to become a too deeply philosophical video. Should be open to revision. This is an open mind and the main attribute of a dynamic individual. This means that the knocks that knock Charlie Brown to his back are not only endurable, but in fact necessary to being dynamic and what is recently being revealed as anti-fragile. What do I mean by anti-fragile? Okay, so I don't want to make this go too deep. This is about canceling Netflix. And it's barely 12:40. I did that all in 10 minutes. Oh my goodness. So maybe I'll ramble a bit and check my my chat streaming. Is anyone tuning in? Is there anyone there? Where would that be? That would be in my browser, of course. Isn't that silly? Am I not streaming? I know I'm streaming. There's that. Ah! I am not streaming. End stream? Maybe I am streaming. Are you folks there? Type something to me. Oh, there's people. Oh, Otto, I heard from you. Hi. It's a 2050 value offered for $4.50, it seems. Yeah, thank you. I hope you're still there. I'm cutting even off that $5 a month. I'm going to be going down to the bone. So, I've got a plan here, living expenses are just people here. Excellent. So living expenses are just so high in New York City. Not as bad as San Francisco. But first I'm going to cut to the bone. Then I'm going to cut into the bone. And in that way, when my account goes down to zero on my income and expenses, when I complain and try to make certain adjustments, even a judge would say, yeah, I feel your pain. That is not right. I'm canceling everything that's really optional. I'll probably keep one or two things that's educational for the kid because it's arguably part of their education. Netflix subscription is included with most Magenta and Magenta Max plans at no extra cost. You have a $35 CDN, which is about 26 USD. Yeah, I have no loyalty to T-Mobile. This is a good one because, I keep thinking maybe it's better that I screwed up my streaming so that I don't do those information leaks. But then I think, it's about bravery. You got to be brave. Brave. Be warb, but not too be warb. Yeah, so my T-Mobile is for a bunch of things, and it's 3 family phones, really a lot of broadband. So that 176 coming down to 170. There's even an Apple Watch on there that they're kind of brought down into a reasonable amount because they see I hardly use the Wi-Fi. If they kept charging me whatever, the $10 a month for the unused cell connection of that Apple Watch, I wouldn't be on T-Mobile anymore. But they're at least smart enough to cut out that charge gratis because you're not using it. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to look at other things and check back with the chat frequently. I got to get into my habits. I'm a one monitor person, right? So part of being the genuine me, the genuine article, there's a bunch of concessions or compromises that I'm doing here that I'm pretty sure other people don't do or wouldn't live with. So I'm going to list a few of those while I chat, right? The first is this full screen mode. I'm usually not like this. I'm usually in function F11 for completely full screen distraction-free mode. It should only be Windows Terminal, or it should only be Terminal, or it should only be, Vim. But when we're streaming, we do as streamers do so that we can at least see some chat. And I'm going to put it up on the screen. That has its own issues. No naughty words, people. And I put it up on the screen by using really one of my favorite features of Windows, which is Arrow Snap. Of all the things they've done right, this Arrow Snap is just awesome. So tell me about something about, oh, look, it's not adjusting both. I was getting better response yesterday. Tell me something about yourself, Otto von Bismarck. I looked at my interaction with my three buddies yesterday, and my one regret is I just didn't ask them enough about themselves, because Celtic Orthodox prayer, I mean, really, that's got to be so interesting. I'm a fan of all things Celtic. I mean, not so much that I know much about it, but I'm a big fan of the ways of the British Isles, the special kind of magic, Celtic magic, farmers and their Highland brethren. Is that too gender specific? But, you know, Highlanders are really cool. And, you know, what comes to mind is that, you know, in the US, you know, we did the atomic bomb, and there's no secrets there. Because boom, right? Very American, guns blazing, I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy. But the Brits broke the German Enigma code, and no one knew the details for 40 years, 40 plus years. And of course, that's a story of Alan Turing, you know, The Imitation Machine, decent movie that gives some of the tale of it. And, you know, Celtic magic is a very special kind of thing that is different than Americans, where we're the Yankee Doodle Dandies and, you know, live free or die and all that stuff. The Brits, with a deep tradition in the mystical ways of the Druids, you know, around Stonehenge, have invisible hands that, you know, to find the great talent, they do like lottery pools to find the people to help Alan Turing. So I'm hoping I can talk, and I might be completely off the right track. I might even be a little too generalizing and racist in that, but, you know, I look forward to finding out about that guy's username. And, oh, there we go. You're a Linux sysadmin, also a certified MCSE, MCDBA, and programmer. 49 and living around Montreal. French is your primary language. As a Netflix alternative, I get my shows from Sonar in my Plex server. Okay, so things to research, you know. I don't really have a to-do list on my public side, but one thing I probably should start doing, Shift G. I hope this doesn't interfere with my publishing. I'll make my publishing system accommodate this, but I need a to-do list. So escape key, bang, space, figlet, to do. Now I have a to-do list at the bottom of my journal. I'll indent it a little so that Markdown doesn't try to format it. And I'll put things to research that people in chat tell me about. That should probably be a headline in case I ever do render this as Markdown on the public side. And then I'll do bullet points. So what I need to research, I know the Plex server, that's interesting, but Sonar, S-O-N-A-A-R, is available on a Plex server. So I guess my sub-point is there is I run a QNAP NAS. I probably even shouldn't say that. How targeted network application servers, particularly the QNAP ones, are out there in the world, but mine isn't even connected to the internet. I don't think you can even ping it. Show episode fetcher, it tells you what series you want to watch, and it downloads it automatically. Radar does the same exact for movies, so I want to research Sonar and Radar. And maybe a point is set up a Plex server, of which I have a QNAP NAS is the subpoint. It's probably going to be a one-click install to get that. I'm not thrilled about how Karnak is putting that user interface over top chat, so I'll bring that up, and I will hit the space bar a few times to have some Karnak input, and then I guess that is left offset. I went slightly left offset, if I can click it. Yuck. Have bigger grabbable sliders. All right, this is good. This won't interfere with chat too much. Minimize instead of close so I don't. And Sonar is available for QNAP. Thank you. Yeah. So I guess for people joining in, so, you know, basically, I'll go back to where I was. GG to jump to the top, Control F to go forward a bit, Smosh on J a bit, ZZ to center. You know, I'll talk out loud a bit on my Vim stuff. So I know I'm a bit weird. It's because I'm not whitewashed by media. Think for yourself. Original thoughts come off as weird to folks who follow the flock. And I can see the best laid plans of Karnak. I don't need it so much anymore. Maybe there's a thing about how high that can go. These are my habits, so, you know, these are things I guess it's worth doing here with you because I'm refining a process that I am and will plan. I do want to use every day. Maybe QNAP needs, or not QNAP, I'm getting all my terms crisscrossed. Maybe Karnak really needs its own space. I got 10 minutes till my lunch break is over. So if anyone else is joining in or you want to, you know, give me any more feedback or ask any more questions, I'm going to try and make it two-way. I'm like, oh, I'll answer questions, but I probably have as much to learn from the folks who would watch someone like me as you have to learn from me. I definitely did not go the credentialed route like my friend Otto von Bismarck did. So, you know, certification is like a stamp of approval by Microsoft that you can trust this consultant to help you with this issue or that. And, you know, I just didn't go that way. Okay, so there's generals, there's keys. I did not realize this. There's recording, and there's appearance. Pop-up text width. Oh, this is great. Maybe there's a pop-up text height. Font size, font color, background color. There's not a height. Height would have been what I wanted. Maybe I can just put it here. You know, I put that. Oh, yeah, that's right. There's a built-in size. We don't need that much showing here. And then I can return this all the way over to the left, more of a left offset, a higher left offset. And then I'll put the Karnak down there. Yeah. It eventually covers chat, but when I let go, it eases off of it. And then I'll center it right there. Oh, that's not bad. I could even make it a little bit lower. And now I want to commit that. That's worth saving, right? Save. And now I've got a nice arrangement for chat, journal, and showing you my Vim keys, which I think is one of the high value things that I have to offer people. So, you know, of the stuff, okay, your input takes priority because I'm just filling time. With Power Tools, you can have odd Windows zones. Yeah. Oh, I'm so torn. I've had Power Toys on and off on my machines. Now, as a general principle, I try to avoid customization. Now, of course, I customize. You can't fully avoid it. But reliance on things like Power Toys is right where I get nervous. You know, I really get nervous about things that, you know, I might be going on Windows 11 soon. Is Power Toys implemented on Windows 11? Maybe, maybe not. If I have a dependency on it, then I have one more thing I have to live without when I switch platforms. Yuck. I feel like I might want to change my default wrap. I'll do it right now. So escape key to get out of insert mode, :TW equals, and before I do that, I'll escape again because I need to just W over this way, and C, it's the E of reliance. So that's about 67 on a line wrap. Yeah, the E of reliance. So I go :TW equals 60, was it 63, 60, I'll just do 65. And so now I have to do set. Set TW equals 65. And I might even change that in my vimrc, which I have, :B //.vimrc. I have a certain place where it detects particular file names. See, it detects journal.txt, and I can turn my journal to do a text wrap of 65 now whenever I start, if this is going to be my permanent situation. And arrow snap is sufficiently awesome that I can just move stuff around and get this arrangement back, relying on those zones. I use Power Tools because of the I'm saying Power Tools. I say that a lot because that's the vendor stuff I avoid. But Power Toys is the built-in launcher. You disable Cortana and Windows built-in search. That's good. It turns off that whole indexing system. You probably get a lot of performance back. I didn't even know turning off the indexing system was possible anymore. And the Windows menu sucks at finding applications. Yeah, so I'm in a similar boat. I turn off Cortana and search, but you just click the Windows thing and then you start typing. If I wanted to find, I mean, it's already on my menu, but if I wanted to find like caffeine, you know, I just start typing caffeine and it finds it. This probably requires the indexing service running in the background, which is a bit of a performance hit. So I thought about researching it. I decided to just, you know, go with a light touch, turn off Cortana, get rid of the search box, and always just understand I'm going to click the logo and start typing. The Windows menu, you know, Win 11 menu sucks compared to Windows 10. Very interesting. See, I don't know these things yet. I'm just starting to get my Windows 11 experience on an extra machine that I have sitting around that I keep liking to show, because despite the fact that Microsoft's hardware designs are really awesome, their high-end stuff, particularly this portfolio design, has some critical flaws that make it not worth it. But I spent so much money on it that now it's my guinea pig machine. So I'll test Windows 11 out and see if I like that stuff. But as you can see on my main machine, I'm sticking on Windows 10 for as long as I can, because give this up. I'm told the 3-finger swoosh or a 4-finger swoosh will work in Windows 11. I'm not sure if it's the default Windows 11 or the insider track. So I still have some discoveries to make. Okay, do I fill time? It's just about lunch hour over, but I can go a little bit in because I started lunch late, so I'll stream a little bit late. This is actually kind of nice. It peeks through the little old Windows thing, so you can see I'm still kind of doing something Windows, even though I'm still kind of doing something Linux. :B2 brings me back to my public journal. So, okay, Shift G to drop me to the bottom. Stuff to do. I will look at Power Toys again. And the reason for it is the launcher and for the snap zones. I don't know the official names. But as far as launchers go, I think people who've watched me enough know that my preferred launching mechanism is to put the keyboard shortcut on the specific icon that's left out here. And I figured out how to do it on Windows 11. It was a little bit tricky. In Windows 11, you had to go here. You have to go to the equivalent of all apps. I think that's this. Yeah, okay, all apps. Windows 11 has an all apps. And then you can, from here, click out your shortcuts. It also works on Windows 10. So if I wanted to create a calculator shortcut, you don't need no launcher. You don't need no special software. Now, I'm not putting down Power Toys. I've used it from time to time, but all the people who have recommended to me to use Power Toys are also the people who love the Microsoft Power tools like VS Code. And I try not to touch those things because they code dependencies into you. So on a calculator like this, I would just, I guess, choose a non-conflicting, calculator. I don't know at this point. I'll just use U for calculator. And then I would bring up properties. And then I would put in the shortcut key, Control-Shift-U, apply, OK. And I would put it in line here, and that generally represents the virtual screen order that I'd likely use it in. I mean, really not so much beyond 1, 2, 3, but a little bit. And so now Control-Shift-U, the calculator will come up eventually. And, you don't need any special software. Now, it is Windows specific, but you're not committing yourself to muscle memory. All you do then is you go in and you figure out the shortcut system for Ubuntu or Macintosh or whatever other system you're on. And so you do always have some operating system knowledge that is different from your generic across-the-board knowledge. But when knowledge is OS specific, you want to avoid third-party dependencies. My wrapping isn't working. That don't exist on those, oh, I know why, I'd have to quit and come back in, that don't exist on those other OSs. Set TW equals 65. Now, I don't think I would have to go back out and in. Yeah, there, my rewrapping works. So if anyone wants that particular magic, it's VIPGQ, GQ. And that is if you type something that was like, let's type out of insert mode. I'll do 20 insert foo space bar space escape. That's going to be 20 foo bars. Oh, now that's automatically wrapping. So I do the period to do that again. And then I jump to the top of this line, then I do Shift J's to sort of wrap them all onto one line. Now I got one really long line of foo bars. And so say you had a really long line from some incidental thing, you can do VIPGQ, and it just rewraps that text box to your text width size, which is how you can live with line breaks, hard returns, live with editing text files using hard returns, which are line breaks at a given, point, usually 80 characters by convention. So, this is going into journal entries, but I should probably start doing at the bottom of the journal, but above the to-do. And again, I'm going to have to fix my release system. So again, if you follow my keystrokes at this point, I would do, I'm out of insert mode. I do 80, and then I do I for insert. I do 1 minus sign, and then I hit the escape, and I've got my long horizontal line. Now, from underneath of there, I position my cursor where I want to begin, and then I get out of insert mode, and then I hit the exclamation point, which looks like it did nothing at all. until you hit the space bar. Now you can see the exclamation point down in that part at the bottom of the screen there. And then you can type a command that would work from the Linux command line, such as Figlet, which I had apt-get install, by the way, that wasn't included. And then I would type something like vimtips. Now, if I think there's going to be any wrapping to it, I would do -w, nice generous number like 200, so that the Figlet thing itself doesn't wrap. And then because those characters have special meaning in Markdown, I just insert it a little bit so that it looks like code, because those indents remove special formatting, because code should not receive all that Markdown special formatting. So there's a lot of tips going on here. So the particular tip is VIPGQ, and then the advice about the tip, maybe I'll put into a quote. Whoops. Control V down, greater than space. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Control V down, shift greater than. Oh, I see. Control V down, insert mode, greater than space up, and it should have been a shift I. See, Charlie Brown keeps, no, it's Roomba. If it's a big lesson, it's Charlie Brown. If it's a small lesson, it's Roomba. And I'll show you all that stuff. Control V, J, shift I, shift period for greater than, space, escape, and that edited 2 lines at a time. It'll control the line breaks because I'm not putting the hard returns with a BR at the end, which is a different kind of hard returns than the invisible ones that are there. So there's so much to talk about. This should no longer be a bullet point, because what's the point of a 1 bullet point? Maybe these should be headlines, each Vim tip its own headline. No, that doesn't seem right. Vim tips should be the headline, and then each of these particular ones that has a quote underneath should be, I don't know, a subhead. These are the things we'll iron out and polish as we go. Now, I'll go ahead and do the release system, and it's certainly going to have some errors. Oops, I did the keyboard shortcut for a new entry, but I'll fix that. I'll do my release system, and you can see that this one here is mikelev.in. That's the journal you're seeing, and it writes out. I guess whatever I did is keeping it from scrolling. That's a strange drawing error thing. I guess I just let it finish. We'll do a before and after. It's funny how it goes down to 0. I don't know if people are still there or not. This does not seem to be accurate. I used to trust this, but I trust this a little bit less. Canceling Netflix and chill. Whew, that could be popular. And there's that information. Okay, I don't know. I'm a risk taker. Take some risks. mikelev.in, blog, center a poem. Center a poem. That's where I began. But this latest journal entry, oh, it's done. So I actually need to put a headline here. Canceling Netflix and chill. And I'll actually run, I keep making the same mistake. I'll run my release system again, and then I'll go over here and I'll do a new before. See, it just knew that it was post 64. So it put it onto a generic URL with a generic headline and generic everything. But that's not what I want. This URL will actually disappear and be replaced by a different URL. This will go 404 in a moment. Not too quickly, but I guess that's where I'll wrap up because I am running out of time. I can't finish by making parting shot points on my journal entry because, VT viewing is not accurate. Never left. Yeah, thanks Otto. This really is going to help a lot because I'm getting a feel for this streaming stuff. I never edit anyway, so it occurs to me, if I don't edit anyway, why have all my stuff look rough and unintentional? I'll have it look rough and intentional because it was a live stream. I'm exactly the kind of person to jump on the live stream bandwagon, and there's no downside, it seems, except for the occasional data leak. Maybe YouTube will give ways to blur areas of the screen. That would be nice. Hear me, YouTube? Or maybe I'll follow through on this multiple machine approach. Usually I like very little surface area. Waiting for key press, so it's over. There was some drawing problem wrong on my release system. Screen drawing. It's probably a WSL thing, actually. And maybe I'll take, I like very little surface area in my life. I'm like a Unix. I'm the perfect candidate for Unix. I was born the same year as Unix. I was born 50 miles away from where Unix was invented. I found my way back to Unix through the Amiga, which was very much not Unix. But everything about it is sympathetic, copathetic, sympathetic vibrations. It's my vibe. Unix is my vibe. And Linux is even more my vibe because of how all that ivory tower stuff of Unix became, forced volunteering back of Linux. Forced volunteering, Linksys, the people who made the WRT iconic blue Wi-Fi router, was forced to give their hardware, their firmware code back to the free and open source community, which is just profound. Oh, Otto, you were an Amiga person too. Had Amigas, yeah. Many of us people who had an Amiga have had Amigas. We are not... We're polyamorous, as long as they're all Amigas. All right. ML SEO. Got to breathe new life into it. This is one of the most exciting things I'm doing. Applications of ML SEO are actually going to be located, or the samples, the way to use ML SEO is going to be found in another library called Pipulate, but I have to update it. Pipulate has the best logo of my things. I'm going to go with ASCII text for giving the identity to ML SEO. Go with a very command line ASCII-like approach. But my Pipulate logo really rocks. I don't even know if I have it on pipulate.com anymore. Oh, there it is. Yeah, free and open source software. So I'm not giving up this really strong identity here. But what I will do is make all the cases of using Pipulate do a from ML SEO import asterisk as the first step in it. So when you Pipulate, when you do free and open source software projects, those deliverables, those things are all going to be using my various other libraries as a part of it. ML SEO for the machine learning SEO portions of it. OAuth. OAuth is a really important one for the all the Google Cloud Service authentication. OAuth. All of these things can be pip installed. This is the best one to pip install because it's the most useful one. You just pip install OAuth, and then you import OAuth, and then you say cred equals OAuth.get. And then it does this long process that I hear my coworkers complain about, going, oh, out of Georgia. I'm like, I faced this problem. I made a library for it that reduces it to 2 lines of code, and I use it for myself all the time, and you are free to use it, but you can also bang your head against the tree if you like as well. I understand not invented here. Not invented here exists for a strong reason, and I'm actually going to wind up on that because, I don't put down NIH syndrome. I project that I put down NIH syndrome because I am so very guilty of it. Why? You understand things better and believe they're superior. But that's a less important point. You understand things better when you invent them yourself. NIH syndrome. It's bad, but it's good. Have some. Write something for yourself. I'm not preaching to you. I know, Otto, you being the MCSC and all that, you probably do some fancy sysadmin stuff that has creativity built into it. Bash scripts are as creative as anything. Now, your system is dual boot. You have Arch on your main SSD, and you can switch to Windows, which is on another SSD. You press F1, F11, and boot, at boot. You press F11 at boot. So you're old school, you know. I keep saying it's going to be my last thing, but, you know, all Linuxes are the same. Either Debian or Red Hat, unless they're Arch or Gentoo. Those are different. And I will guess Otto von Bismarck CK is not a fan of Systemd. I personally can't get enough of it. Arch, you know, these are inside jokes. People who are on this stuff can't help but make references without explaining it. Arch doesn't use the Debian Packaging Management, DPG, Debian Packaging Management System. I can't ever get it right, but everyone knows it as apt-get, or maybe Synaptic. So Arch doesn't use apt-get or RPM. Arch doesn't generally use a graphical desktop. And Arch still uses initd versus systemd. Arch is badass and cool. Pac-Man agrees. Sorry, I'm going to get some nerd jokes in. So I see you typed a bit and my stuff goes over it, but in a second it should clear and I will respond. Oh, you like Systemd. Arch? Oh, Arch used Systemd. Yeah, well, yeah, life goes on. So Arch is some dynamic personality. So, you know, the embracing of Systemd or not really reveals a lot about the open-mindedness of the people maintaining the Linux distro, because, you know, Systemd is monolithic, introduces hacking surface area, oversteps its bounds in regards to user space versus system space. In other words, it kind of steps in and manages things that a lot of people think it has no business managing, which lends to its hacking surface area. But oh, there's more. Was inspired by Apple. Like, there's a lot of things to really hate about it, but in all other regards is awesome and provides a practical alternative to web development. You got to understand, we're talking Linux system services, which are both automatically run at startup and can rerun on fails, you know, exits. If they exit for any reason, the operating system gets them booting again. And if the thing you're running is a scheduler, they have scheduling. You know, it has scheduling. Run script at time every day. For example, I mean, you have any scheduling context you want, and a subpoint of that is without cron. Oh my God, everyone says, oh, you got to learn this difficult cron tab. You don't have to learn cron tab. Just choose whatever scheduler you want. You can use, I guess this is a subpoint of this. You can use Python's standard library schedule, or you can pip install schedule. I think Python's standard library is actually called sched, or you can pip install schedule and get scheduling for humans. And so, you know, all this stuff about, it sounds so cryptic and mysterious, but all this stuff about Linux system services is both easier and arguably more useful than web development. Who needs to create a genie and by extension have to be that genie? Poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need? When you can be a waiter serving out a meal at a scheduled time every day. Systemd, you can have scheduled jobs to the seconds instead of minutes via cron, and you can have more control for each daemon. Oh, God bless you. And you don't have to do bash script to do it. You can just do it with some simple text files. You can fine-grain control of resource CPU RAM in each service instead of the old ETC security limit. So as we can see, Otto van Bismarck is an open-minded individual. So even in tech, so you think tech is like Star Trek. And people want to do things like change to better tech when it's available. Tech is just as much like nervous little Dutch boy with his finger in the dike. I always am nervous writing that word. Dike, I guess. You do that with an I. Don't change anything, or else all the water comes flooding through. Or other ways to say that is paralyzed into inaction for fear of the machines breaking and heads rolling. So people oftentimes think tech is like this. But too often, tech is like this. Init is also synchronous. Systemd is async. When people hate it, it's related to the fact they have something new to learn. Yeah, something new to learn. So, you know, where do I really land on that something new to learn? Because, you know, I advocate Linux, Python, Vim, and Git, so that you don't have as much new stuff to learn. So am I actually dynamic? Yes, because each of those has a lifetime of learning. And even so, I took up Jupyter Labs right now, Jupyter Lab, you know, because, you know, sometimes the exception is more important than the rule. Knowing when ain't easy. Okay, any parting shots you want to get in there, Otto von Bismarck, because, you know, I've got 10 minutes before a meeting starts, so I really have to wrap it up. Yeah, you already know LPVG. Those are, in fact, the very letters I use. So, you know, I like to do LPVG because it'll play well in the social medias and stuff, right? You know, when this concept of those 4 tools in particular and the way they work together in unison to create something worth labeling, when that becomes popular, it's going to become popular, in fact, in part because its acronym is somewhat unique. Linux Python, capital L, capital P, and then VG in lowercase v and lowercase g, representing how they're actually used in their, you know, proper names. Vim and Git never get proper name used because they're so close to their actual command line command. Your name is Luke Otto von Bismarck was the commander of the Bismarck. Your name is Luke. Otto von Bismarck was the commander of the Bismarck, which was a German World War II battleship with an interesting story. Shift G. Research. Otto von Bismarck. World War II battleship. I'll know it when next we meet Otto von Bismarck, whose name is actually Luck or Luke. I should learn the pronunciation. Oh, there's a movie about the Bismarck. Okay, it's a subpoint. Watch the movie. Hopefully it wasn't a Netflix one. That's a good one to end on, right? Luke. Yeah, okay. I like Luke. Luke Luck licks lakes. Luke Stuck licks lakes. Is that Dr. Seuss? One of my favorite books. Fox in Box. Very, very important for technology people and static versus dynamic personalities and knowing when someone is yanking you around. I also, of course, like Luke Skywalker and all my Star Wars metaphors, so very special to my heart. Thank you, Luke. You have a good day, too. I'll be signing off now. Perfect winding up spot. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon, and don't forget to subscribe.